how to design your own custom camouflage inside Photoshop. What's going on, everybody? I want to show you guys something pretty cool. How to design a custom camouflage effect inside Photoshop. Now, before you get on my head talking about there's 1,000 videos on YouTube how to do this, which is absolutely true, but there isn't one I at least found where utilizing both Photoshop and Illustrator to get some awesome camouflaging effects sent out to printing houses or for your local business or just something that you want to know how to do. And I'm going to be the first candidate to show you guys how to do that. The first part will be about Photoshop, and the second part of the video, well, I should just say 2 videos, is how we're going to implement what we did in Photoshop and take it into Illustrator. So open up your Photoshop and you want to create a document that's at least 3,000 by 3,000 pixels. Okay. Then the reason for that is so that these filters, yes, we're going to use nothing but filters to make these awesome effects. Let's begin. The first thing you want to do is create a solid color. So we want to go into our adjustment layers, hit solid color. It doesn't matter at this point what color you're choosing. So I'm going to pick this. All right. Now, the next important step is create a layer. And in this empty area over here, right click and convert to smart object. Now, for those who are new to Photoshop or those forgot, well, smart objects are non-destructive ways of editing filters. So as opposed to creating a regular layer and slapping a filter to it, it's permanent. Whereas this, we can always go back and make changes. So we created our smart filter, our smart object, my apologies. And then we go up to filter, scroll down to render, and select clouds. Now, this might not look like much. We're going to select yet another filter. So let's click filter, go down to blur this time, and we're going to select Gaussian Blur. Just leave it at that for right now. It's going to make sense to you in a second. Hit OK. Now we need to go up to image, adjustment, and go over to threshold. Now this is where the fun begins. The higher up we go up in the threshold, the more separated our actual design becomes. And the smaller the number, the more close and I guess personal it looks. I'm joking, y'all. Just find a nice number where you think the beginning of your camo is starting to take shape. Hit OK. All right. Cool, we're off to a great start. In this open area, next to your layer 1 or smart object in the empty area, double click that. I'm introducing you to blend if. If we move it to the right, just one under this layer, our solid color punches through, it becomes transparent. So if we hit OK after that, and you might say, I don't like that solid color, can I change it? Yes, you can. Double click on your solid color field and just change it to something else, what you think might be pretty cool. So I'm going to select this brownish or burgundy color. Hit OK. All right. We got threshold, Gaussian blur, and clouds. Check this out. If we double click on Gaussian blur and we turn up the actual radius, let's see what happens. Look, it changed the splotches, which is really dope. That's the awesome thing about smart filters. We can always go back and make drastic changes or small changes. I like this, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna go up to image now, and then I'm gonna go to adjustments, and then I wanna select Hue and Saturation. Click that. Look, it's under smart filters. That's the version that we want. We don't want layer and create an adjustment layer because now it's going to sit it above the layer. We want it under smart filters. and click colorize. Now, this is where the tweaking of your splotches or a spread out graphics is going to become fun to you. Let's just move the hue around a little bit and change the lightness. Look at that. And saturation is basically telling you how much of that color do you want. So what if I like this right here? Almost look like Scooby-Doo colors, but that's okay. Hit okay. Now, we got one instance of our actual camouflage. Now, you might say, this looks pretty cool. It looks very basic, but that's okay. Because guess what we're going to do now? We're going to hold Command or Control and hit the letter J this time. We're duplicating it, but we're just going to play with the smart filters. And it's not just these 4 filters you can play with. There's so many other filters. Watch. Let's go into threshold real quick. Let's double click that. And let's play with it a little bit more. Let's make it, I don't know, a little bit smaller like this, right? And then hit OK. And then we're going to go into our Gaussian Blur. And I guess we can shrink this radius down and hit OK. And now you're saying it looks ugly. That's because we have to play with our hue and saturation of our duplicated layer. Now let's play with the lightness and turn it up. Look at that. And let's play with the hue a little bit more. And let's desaturate it just a tad, I guess. At this point, you're just playing with it. Let's hit OK with that. And you say, well, I want to spread it out a little bit more. We're still not done. We can go up to Filter, Blur, and let's select a motion blur this time. And you're like, oh man, you're destroying my graphic. It don't look right no more. See, at this point about creating camouflages is that you can get really creative and there's no set rule on what it looks like. This is basically just an effect before you apply it to a shape or logo of some kind. Hit OK. Now with the motion blur, you drag it under threshold. Let's see what happens. It changed the angle. And let's double click on clouds and see what happens. See, now we're getting somewhere. Now it's starting to look like something. Go back into hue and saturation by double clicking on it. And let's tweak it some more. Let's see what else we can do with it. You might like that white, but you might not like that brown down there. Just go back to your color fill and just play with the background color and see what you can come up with. Oh, that's not bad. I like that right there. Hit OK. Right? Now you got 2 instances. Create yet another one. Just hit Command J this time. And you're going to do the same thing yet again. So let's go to threshold. And all we're going to do is play with it and see what else we can get. You might say, I like this right here. All right? Hit OK. Then next, let's play with the hue and saturation. Let's play with that. And let's see what we can get just by playing with different colors. Turn the lightness down. You might say, see, because I'm just experimenting. I'm just doing it on the fly. I might use that, right? And click OK. But this time, I might take this one and put it underneath this one. And you're just rearranging the order. Now you got the green ones in the middle. You might not like that green that goes with that purplish stuff. You can go back into your hue and saturation yet again and just tweak it some more. Ooh, that's dope right there. I like that. I like that right there. Hit OK. Go to the white one, which is your second layer copy. You can always rename it and call it Camo 3 or something like that. And go to your Gaussian Blur. And you might want to smooth it up a bit. Let's see what the splotches give us. See what they give us. Yeah, that's pretty cool right there. And that, my friends, right there is the basis of creating a camouflage effect inside Photoshop. Now, if you want to take it a little bit further and you're saying, am I restricted to only 3000 by 3000 pixels? Otherwise, it's going to have that hard edge if I was to do a step and repeat. The answer is no. All you will have to do is go to image, canvas size, and change the actual canvas. So if you go into canvas size and it's 10 by 10 inches right now, you can always change it to a bigger size. So it will be completely up to you. The file size will be bigger, but Photoshop, since we're working with filters, it's going to randomize it. It's not going to look the same, but the colors are all going to be intact, which is pretty dope. You might say, well, can I add a texture? Yeah, you can. You will go up to filter. Actually, we'll go into the second one. Let's go into the middle one we got. Let's go up to filter, filter gallery, and look. In the Texturizer one, you see this little drop down menu right here? You could load in your own texture. Let's shrink this back so I can see it. This is actually a texture I had while I was at Specs and took a picture of the carpet and just blended it in. And I'm just going to reduce the relief so it's not so pronounced. I want to push it back a little bit, like right there. And I might say, okay, look at that. And that's pretty dope. If you zoom in, that's a pretty dope looking texture. Nobody would know it was a floor unless I told you, but it gave an actual texturized look to the camo effect. But if you don't want that, you can always undo it. There you go. And that, my friends, is the end